In this video, step by step, we are going to create an inventory management system in Excel. In this first sheet, we have the inventory, and this first sheet serves as the core of the inventory because here we can register every product we have and automatically track using formulas in Excel how many units come in, how many units come out, and what is the current balance to every product that we have. And we can also have here a minimum stock level because that way we can make sure we don't run out of products or overstocking. And in the second sheet, we have the movement where we can register all the products coming in and out of the stock, all the purchases and sales. We have date, product name, that is actually a drop-down list in Excel to make it easier to click and select the item. The type we have either in or out, and depends on the value you select here. Excel changes the color automatically. You insert the quantity, and you also have a column to insert a optional note to extra details. And every time you register a product here, a movement, Excel in the inventory sheet automatically update the quantity in, out, and balance for each one of the products you have. Let's start our inventory management system in Excel with the header. So let me click on the number 1 here on the left, and that way we can select the entire row. Now I can go to the Home tab and change the fill color to a different one. Maybe I can use, in this case, a blue color because I actually like blue. However, you can choose a different color. Let me go now to the second row and do the same thing, Home tab. However, this time I can use a different shade of blue, maybe a dark one. And just a quick tip here. If you click between the second and third row, click, hold, and drag up, you can reduce the height, and you can do something similar to the first row. However, click, hold, and drag downward, because that way you can increase the height of the first row. Now we have a header in Excel, and the only thing that is missing here is the title. So let me go and input something like inventory control or inventory management, and that's it. Let's keep it simple, inventory. Now let me go to the Home tab, increase the font size a little bit, and use the alignment to put all the way to the left. I can also use bold and change the font color to a dark blue, maybe this one. Okay. And another thing that you can do is here at the bottom of Excel, right click on the sheet name and go to rename. We can rename it as inventory. Enter. The main idea here in the inventory is to be used as the core of the inventory management. You can register every product you have in stock, track how many units come in, how many goes out, and the balance. So it help us to monitor stocks levels in real time for sure, because we are going to do some formulas here, and it can also be used as the key to making sure we don't run out of stock or products and overstocking. So let me, in the first column, create the product name. This is the first column that I need to use because with this column I can register all the products that I have. In the second column I can have minimum stock level, and I think this column here is very important because it can allow us to see the safety quantity or the lowest quantity we might have on hand before we need to reorder each product. And then we can have in the next one quantity. Let me just short it a bit, quantity in, quantity out, and we can also have the balance. Okay, that's it. The quantity in is basically if we added or purchase or restock something, it's going to appear here, the units, and the quantity out is the quantity we sold or used. Now let me increase the columns width a little bit, click, hold, and drag to the right. Between B and C, I'm gonna do the same thing for column C, and to the other columns too. Click, hold, and drag to the right. That's it. I can select this first header and go to the Home tab and use a different fill, maybe a dark blue, change the font color to white, and also put everything in bold, like this. let me register here the first product that I have. Let's say laptop. The second one, item 1, item 2, item 3, and so on. I can register here all the products I have. And let's set a minimum stock level right here. The laptop, the minimum is going to be 10, item 1 is going to be 5, item 2, 15, and item 3 is going to be 3 units. That's it. Quantity in, quantity out, and balance are going to be formulas we're going to build up here together in Excel. Quantity in and quantity out depends on the next sheet that we need to create, but because we don't have yet the next sheet, we can calculate the balance. So the balance is going to be a very simple calculation, equal sign, quantity in minus quantity out, just a subtraction, enter. Then I can click, hold, and drag downward. And I can also select this entire table and actually use a table in Excel, insert table, because a table has many benefits that I'm going to show you. But first, let me click my table has headers. Let me just this option, check it, and then go OK. Now we have a table in Excel. And one of the most important benefits of use a table in Excel is every time you input here a new product. So let's say I'm going to the next blank row and then item A, for example, enter. Automatically, the table adds a new row for you with the formulas that we created and etc. So it's really important to use a table in Excel. The balance is already working. Let me input here a minimum stock for item A. It's gonna be 5. Yeah, that's it. Now, in order to create the quantity in and quantity out, we need to create a new sheet, because with this new sheet, we can go for the inventory movement. So right click here, go to rename, and we can call this sheet as movement, or you can also use a more descriptive name such as inventory movement. And the idea here is this sheet can logs every stock movement each time a product is added or removed. We record the product, whether it's coming in or going out, the quantity, and the date. So once we start here with the header, of course, but I will not create everything again manually because we already did it once. So I can go back to the inventory. By the way, let me right click here in the inventory sheet, rename, because it's missing a N. Okay, inventory, that's it, enter. Let me select the first and the second row, right click, and then we can copy. Let me go to the second sheet, click on the first row, right click, and then we can paste. The only change we can do here is inventory, and then we can add movement, or if you prefer, you can just call it movement. The informations that we can use here are date, to register the date of the transaction, and then we can have product name. But of course, you don't need to manually input here the product name, because we are going to use an Excel list to just click and select the item that you need to insert. So yes, we are going to create something very easy to insert data. Date, product name, and then we can have type. Type is the type of the movement, type of the transaction, indicates whether the product is coming in or going out of the stock. And then we can have quantity, of course. The quantity is the value involved in the transaction, whether it's in or out. And after the quantity, we can have notes. However, it's optional. It's any extra details you want to include in the transactions. So let's say in the January 1st of 2027, enters, this is the first date. Let me increase the width of this column. The product, I want to also include here. However, the problem is I don't even remember the product name that I want to include here. And I also don't want to check every time the products that I have to make sure it's correct. So what we can do is we can create a list in Excel. And in order to create a list in Excel, we can use many different methods, let's say. However, the one that I like the most is using the indirect function in Excel, coupled with the name of the range, the table name and the range name, the column name. And to do that, within the inventory sheet, I can click in any blank cell and then equal sign. I can select all the products that I register. However, be mindful here, do not select the header because it's not important in this situation. The thing that is important is to select all the products, because the way we can see the table name and also the column name, I can select everything but the equal sign, right click, copy. Now we can press escape. I can go back to the movement, click on the cell underneath product name, and then go to data, data validation. And instead of allow any value, I want to allow a list. Within the source, we can go with something like equal sign, indirect, open parentheses, open quotations, right click, paste what we've copied, close quotations and close parentheses, and then OK. Now if we click in the dropdown, we can see all the items that we've registered in the order table. And if you add a new product right here, let's say monitor or 4K monitor. If I go back to the movement and click on the items, I can see the product that I've registered is already appear here. Let me go with laptop, and the type of the transactions can be or in or out, whether either in or out, right? So I can go to data validation and also create a list. However, this time, instead of have a dynamic list, I want to have a list that is not going to change at all. We can have either in, comma, or out. And it's very important to separate the two options that you have with the comma, because comma is the symbol in Excel that helps create multiple options. Let me go to OK. And every time I click in the type, I can select either it's in or out. And let's say I will also want to improve the visual for this type. So every time I have in, I want to highlight with a blue color. And every time I have out, I want to highlight with a yellow color. So let me click on this cell just to select, go to the Home tab and use, for this case, conditional formatting, because this is the tool in Excel that can help us highlight cells. And I want to highlight cells using a rule that is equal to, because every time I have a cell that is equal to in, I want to highlight it with a blue color. However, if you pay attention here, there's no blue at all in the options. So I go to the last option, custom format, and I'm going to build the blue color myself. In the font, I want to use a dark blue. And as the fill, I want to use a very light blue. So I'll go to more colors and I'm gonna do this blue color myself. Maybe like this. Okay, okay, and okay. Now every time I click and select the in option, I can see that Excel automatically turns the cell blue. And if I have out, I want to conditional format, highlight cells rules equal to, maybe we can use yellow. And for this case, it's already being shown here in the list, okay? And that's it. So now we have in and out, and they also are going to be automatically highlighted. And the quantity is just a number that we can insert to indicate how much units we have coming in or out the stock. So laptop, out the stock, 3 units, enter. Notes, as I said before, it's optional, so I'm not going to write anything right now. Let me select everything, go to insert, and also create a table here, because a table is going to be very important in this situation, because we are going to do some formulas to fill out the quantity in and quantity out columns that we have in the first sheet. And because we have a table right now, we are creating a table, it's going to be very beneficial. Let me click OK, because whenever the table grows down row by row, the formula is going to also be updated. The range is going to grow with the table. Okay, let me input another transaction here, January 2nd of 2027. Laptop, again, go out, 1 unity. And again, on the same day, let's say item 2, go out, 5 units. And in the same day, laptop, 1 more goes out, 1 unity. And let me create here a purchase situation, let's say laptop, I bought 3 or 30 units. And for the item 2, I bought, let's say, just 6 units. Yes, that's it. So this is the movement that I have right now. So all those values need to appear in the quantity in, quantity out for each product that we have. And in order to create this automation, we can use a formula in Excel. And the formula that we are going to use is the sum ifs function. But why should I use sum ifs instead of sum formula? Because a sum formula in Excel adds all the numbers in a range. But I don't want to include all the numbers that I've selected. I just want to include the numbers if the product name and the type are the criteria that I'm looking for. So quantity in needs to be equal in the type. And for the laptop, the product name needs to be laptop. So I need to match those criteria, quantity in and the product name. So this is why I cannot use sum formula. And this is why I should use sum if, because I have a condition, a criteria to include in the sum. 1, 2, sum range. This is very simple. The first argument. Sum range is the range that I want to add up. So it's here on the movement. I can go to quantity. That's it. Select the whole column, comma. Now the criteria range. It can be either type or product, doesn't matter. So let me go to type first, comma. And for the type, I need to include all the type that is equal to quantity in. So let me click here in the formula bar to make it easier to see. Open quotations, in, close quotations. So every time I have in, Excel is going to add up those values, comma. The second criteria range can be the product name, comma. However, in this case, I don't want to manually insert the product name because I may have many products. Imagine if I do this process for each row that I have. It's going to take a long time. So I want to automate and make the formula more dynamic. In this situation right here, I'm going to jump back in the inventory and select the first product that I have. That's it. Because when we hit enter, Excel knows if in the first row is using the first product, so in the third row is going to use the third product, and so on. So now the formula is working. We have quantity in to all the products, and we can do the same process to quantity out. However, again, let's automate this. You don't need to build the formula manually over and over again. What we can do is we can go back to the quantity in, double click to select 1, 2, select everything. Now you can also select the equals sign, right click, copy, press escape, and then go to quantity out, 1, 2, Control V to paste the information. Instead of using the in the criteria, now we can change to out. Simple as that. And doesn't matter, okay, if you are using uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter, because in this situation right here, Excel, it's considered that it's the same if you type out in lowercase or in uppercase. Okay, enter. Now we have quantity in, quantity out, and also the balance, and also the minimum stock level. So this is how we can create a very simple inventory management system in Excel to track the stock coming in and going out. Every time you register here a new transaction, automatically the inventory is going to show you the quantity in, quantity out, and also the balance for each one of the products that you have. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or suggestions to other videos, let me know, comment down below, because every day has a new video. So I see you there.